So the first question I have for you is how did you decide that you wanted to work in animation?
Okay. I feel like I feel like most artists and most ATEC students, I've always kind of had this love and appreciation for art. Um, like I started drawing when I was 3, and I just kind of like never put down like the crayon, or like the crayon evolved into like a pencil, paintbrush, stylus now, Apple Pencil. But I had this fondness for animation, especially like cartoons. I think like some of my earliest influences, I think, are the 1998 Mulan, shows like the Powerpuff Girls, Avatar: The Last Airbender, Teen Titans, and then later down the line, I became a fan of Miyazaki films, of course. Who isn't?
Yeah.
And then other like anime. I feel like a lot of people don't know this, but Soul Eater actually influenced a lot of my current stylization. Like I think I remember I was watching a scene and Death the Kid was like on top of like the school's roof, and I noticed like there's like a triangle drawn on his cheek, and that's when I first realized like, oh, the nose casts a shadow whenever like the lighting is hitting to a certain severity, and so it's anyway, I digress. I think that ultimately the thing that pushed me to pursue art is my love, just like my childhood fascination with like these cartoons and animation. And I remember the moment I was in my AP drawing and painting class, and I was like trying to like figure out what I wanted to major in. And I'm like, I know I want it to be art adjacent, but I really don't know what it is that I specifically want to do in art, just as long as I'm in it. And I remember that my teacher at the time, he put down a pamphlet. It's more like a booklet, really. It's a thick kind of booklet for Ringling College of Art and Design. And in the back, there was this like this section that just showed all of the job opportunities. Like it unfolded, and there were just so many um, opportunities that I had never even considered, because no one ever told me that those were jobs that you could do. And that kind of opened my eyes. And I think like coming into UTD, uh, I was initially pursuing more like the business side of arts. Like I wanted to do project management, and I wanted to do like almost like, I feel like there's like a part of me that was like hesitant to say like I'm all in for like the art side, even though that's what I wanted. And it took a professor, like one of my freshman year professors, and then like my former roommate Sheridan Green, like they're like, oh, if you're gonna be doing this, you should be all in, because that's what you want to do, and you're paying all this money to do what you want to do. And I was like, you're right, I'm gonna do what I want to do. And so right now it's like uh, I still love the project management side. I love working with people and creative people, especially. But my heart is definitely with like the visual development, kind of pre-production um, side of animation. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing all that. That is quite twists and turns in your story that I didn't expect.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it just reminds me, just so exciting to see that everybody has their own path, and the just Soul Eater just really sticks out to me as something that influenced you to get into this field.
I know. Like, I feel like a lot of people wouldn't think that, because right now I'm kind of going through a phase in my art where it's very like almost soft, painterly. Um, but yeah, Soul Eater, I remember like in my sketchbook there was so much like Soul Eater in there.
Oh wow. And I know you touched on this a little bit, but the second question I had for you is how did your time as an ATEC student help you pursue your goals working animation?
Right, right. So I think something that ATEC does really well is teaching you how to advocate for yourself and advocate for your peers. Um, I think just being part of like different organizations on campus. I was part of the Mercury, doing graphics and comics for them, and then eventually like editing or being the graphics editor for them. Um, and I don't know, just like working on a team of people, getting to network with those people. I think like every job that came after the Mercury, I got because I knew someone. Like I wouldn't have really put much thought into it, but from the beginning, ATEC is always telling you like advocate for yourself. Networking with your peers is just as important as networking with professors. Um, and then I learned so much from my peers, like how to price my work for commissions or how to just stand up for myself as an artist and my integrity in my work, as well as just like some of the professors. I have to say, Kara or Paulo, you already know. Everyone knows.
Everyone does.
She's just such a great professor. I can tell that she really just advocates and cares about her students so much, like whether or not you're a current student or a former student or even just adjacent, like not even taking her class. I feel like she is one of those professors that really stick out to me, and I feel nurtured in her presence. Like I know that she is doing the things that she does to take care of her students. And yeah, I hope that answered the question.
Oh yes, that did. You are, let's see, out of everybody I've interviewed so far, everyone has referenced Kara or Apollo. So
Yeah,
so you
I
kept the
mean,
streak going.
I got to keep the streak going, and like for good reason, because
Oh
she's
yeah.
a fantastic professor. Probably like one of my favorites. Uh, and then like of course like Todd Fector and then Sean McComber are up there too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, hopefully they all see this and be like, "Oh, thank you, Lou." So thank you for sharing that part of your journey as well. So especially, I know personally, like I observed your work, and I knew like this is somebody who knows what they want to do as well. And also too, just a side question: are commissions open just in case people want to DM you at all or things like that?
Oh my goodness, I can open them up. Yeah, at Baby Blue DM me.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna put at Baby Blue in the description for this video, so don't no worries there. And
Awesome, thank you so much.
oh, you're welcome. And now that since you've graduated, what has it been like just so far, post grad wise, career wise for you?
All right, post-grad wise, I think I'm gonna like touch back on like what I talked to you about like a little bit before the we started recording. But the way I describe it to everyone who asks me is, it kind of feels like when your birthday comes around and then people are asking like, oh, how does it feel to be this age, like do you feel older? And then you're kind of just like, I don't really feel that much older, I feel the same as yesterday. And then something small a couple months down the line happens and you're like, shoot, I am this age. And I feel like that's the best analogy I can make for post-grad life. Right now, I'm working as an art direction intern at the internship. I handle their, I'm part of the social media team, so all of their posts kind of go through me, and then I also help to design them. Uh, with that, I also did some concept artwork for an upcoming student-led film, Shakti. Uh, that's directed by Navya and Kushi. And what else? I've been doing a mentorship with one of my favorite artists that I have been looking up to for a very long time, Ariel Jovellanos, and she's a illustrator and comic book artist. And it's just so amazing to kind of have her as my mentor because I remember being 14 on like lurking on her Tumblr page of like Marvel fan art and Percy Jackson fan art, and just to kind of have it full circle, having her as my mentor and guiding me uh, through these self-made projects and refining my portfolio and all the advice and guest speakers that she's been able to provide for me, like it's just like wow, like that's really like one of my heroes from when I was a teenager, and look at me now. Yeah, it's been really rewarding. And right now, like, it's still like hunting for jobs, like prepping my portfolio for internship applications and other like career development opportunities. And also just like trying to be a good alumni, like reaching back out to like my friends at UTD, because I do miss UTD and I miss ATEC a lot. But yeah, post grad life has been treating me really well. I feel like a lot of the anxiety has come from just waiting for graduation or like prepping myself before graduation. But once it hit, I was just like, this is my life now. Yeah.
And I'm glad that things are on the upswing for you. I know you have a lot of things going on as well, and I believe that you'll have a great future or whatever you do. Because I've seen
Oh,
your work ethic, and it's something like I say to myself, yeah, I need to work as hard as her.
oh my goodness.
So
I mean,
yeah.
I see you working as hard. Like I've seen like your archives and all your videos, and you're doing a great job.
Oh, thank
I'm a
you.
fan.
I get inspired by seeing like your work and everybody else's work. Honestly, that just pushes me to work harder. So I have to thank you for doing what you do.
Well, I'll
And
thank you for thanking me for thanking you.
you're welcome. But also too, now time for thinking about the youth, the kids. What advice do you have for college students, for people out there, based on all of the experiences you've had?
Okay, let's see. Ooh, the imposter syndrome is kind of setting in because I'm like, am I qualified enough to give advice? I'll try my best. But kind of like calling back to some of the conversations we were having is horizontal networking is just as valuable, if not more valuable, than vertical networking. Your peers are kind of like your entryway into the future, and you never know who it is that's going to support you in the future. It could be someone that you met like your freshman year of college and you just like clicked really well, and then it grows into a connection that you could leverage later on. And also just like, we're all in a school that's like-minded in the sense where we all want to create something, and that's not something you really get, um, not something you always get outside of academia, right? Um, so yeah, definitely reminding yourself that everybody knows somebody, and just going out there and making genuine connections, joining organizations sooner rather than later. Yeah, making friends, like it's good for your like your social life, your personal growth, but also your career development as well. And just always make sure to like on that same note, advocate for the people in your life, be that connection for someone else as well. Yeah, that's probably uh, my the best advice that I could come up with on the spot.
Well, it's great advice at the end of the day, and I think that people will take it and use it most definitely.
Yeah, I hope so.